Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis Legacy. The sorority secrets of the goddess next door are revealed in this all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis Legacy in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. I just finished writing the first draft of one of the SJS Direct 2024 books, Isis Dark Incubus. Now, Isis Dark Incubus is the sequel to 2019's John Haynes' Dark Succubus, and this book tackles a serious topic as related to black love, the impact of white supremacy on black love. Now, one of the biggest problems with black on black love is white supremacy and the psychological impact it has on the black woman's mind. And I wanted to go in depth on that subject in Isis Dark Incubus because the Isis character, as she immigrated to America in the 19th century, experienced white supremacy and was traumatized by the racism she encountered as she was trying to build a life in South Carolina. And as she was trying to build a life in South Carolina, Isis experienced seeing her husband being lynched by the Ku Klux Klan and saw her son murdered by the Klan after they lynched her husband. And this had a serious psychological traumatic effect on the goddess next door and led to her winding up having to deal with extreme trauma as related to how she would have relationships with black men. And as a result of that trauma, Isis didn't really want to get involved with another man, and she didn't want to get involved with another man over the course of the 20th century and the 21st century due to her fear of that man being taken away from her by racists as they were looking to target any black man who was looking to improve his quality of life. And that's a trauma that many black women had to deal with in the 20th century and had to also deal with in the 21st century. And people really don't want to talk about how this trauma on the black woman's mind makes it hard for her to have relationships with black men. Now, this trauma is one that black women have had to deal with ever since the days of slavery, because when a black woman would go out here and try to form a relationship with a black man and try to pair bond with him, the slave master, what he would do, because he saw the black woman as property, what he would do is try to break up that black family that was being built by going out here and doing things by selling off the husband or selling off the wife, and that led to psychological trauma between black men and black women as related to how they related to each other. And what happened to many black women over the course of slavery and Jim Crow and the aftermath of slavery being abolished is that black women had to deal with the trauma of fearing that the man in their life would not be there to protect them or be there to provide for them. And again, this fear is something that was created as related to the slavery and the slave master seeing the black man and black woman as property, one. And two, it was also created by the terrorism that was created by the Ku Klux Klan and many white racists in the days after slavery during times like the post-Reconstruction period. And because a black woman oftentimes did not feel like she could have the emotional security of being at the side of a black man or could trust that that black man could be there, a lot of times you had a lot of women who were extremely insecure, and they were insecure because they were afraid that the man who was there would not be able to go out here and protect them or be able to provide for them, And it's this fear that prevents a black woman from really being able to go out here and really connect with a black man in an emotional, mental, or spiritual way. Because what happens with a lot of black women is that they live with this doubt that a black man is able to go out here and be the protector as related to his role in God's order. They fear that this black man will not be able to go out here and lead the family. This is a fear that has been passed on from generation to generation, and it's one that really prevents a lot of black women from being able to go out here and trust a black man fully and be able to have that faith in him that God wants black women to have with a black man. And this fear is the foundation of why many black women, I believe, have a problem going out here and loving a black man. It's this fear that this black man will not be there to be able to meet her emotional needs, and she fears that this black man's life could possibly be taken away at any time by a racist or a white supremacist, or even in these days of the 20th and 21st century, some black male who is caught up in his feelings. So the black woman's ability to have relationships with black men are really governed by fear, and because the black woman's ability to love a black man is governed by fear, she can't really commit to a black man emotionally. And this is one of the big problems I've seen as related to black men and black women having relationships. Many black women start their relationships based on fear instead of faith. And because they start their relationships based on fear instead of faith, what happens is many of those black women cannot go out here and pair bond with a black man, and they cannot really form a mental, emotional, and spiritual connection with that black man, because there's always this doubt inside of their heads that this black man may not be there. And because there's always this doubt inside of their minds that a black man may not be there, what happens is that this fear sprouts the seeds of doubt, and that doubt winds up being the thing that winds up undermining a lot of modern relationships. And that's basically why many black women are single today, because their whole core foundation for their relationships is based on fear, and that fear prevents them from being able to go out here and be able to love a black man in a relationship. That is something I have observed from studying these gender war videos and also studying the history of black on black relationships. One of the biggest problems we have is this fear that black women have of trusting a black man to be there. This is one of the reasons why the white feminist movement was able to go out here and influence black women and influence black women's minds to be persuaded to turn against black men, because most of the feminists, what they knew was that the black woman feared that she would not be able to get her economic needs met or her emotional needs met, because the black man's economic situation was extremely unstable. Many of the feminists understood that a black man's employment was basically very unstable, because white supremacy would make it where a black man was, one, in the lowest level jobs, and two, he was basically having his job put in jeopardy, because his job could be lost at the whims of a white man who is caught up in his feelings because he went to the coffee shop and they ran out of dark roast. And because they ran out of dark roast, or they ran out of sugar packets, or they didn't have the cinnamon raisin bagels, this white man would just take out his anger on a black man, and that black man could basically lose his entire employment, all based on the feelings of a white man. And again, this is a fear that many free black people had ever since the emancipation of black men. This is a fear that many black women had, that their entire economic life situation could be completely upheaved, all because of the feelings of a white man. And if this black man, even as much as in the days of Jim Crow, were to say something, her entire life could be destroyed. And again, it's this fear that is the thing that really hinders black women from being able to love and connect and bond with a black man. It's this fear that is something that black women, that they really don't talk about, but it's something I wanted to explore in the pages of Isis Dark Incubus. I really wanted to explore the whole issue of black women and their struggles with trying to love black men, and the things that really impede a sister from really going out here and sharing black love with a black man. Because the Most High wants the black woman to live an abundant life, and the thing that really impedes a black woman from being able to live the abundant life that the Most High wants her to live is this fear of having faith in the black man, who he made to be her head and her steward, because the Most High made the black man to be the black woman's head and her steward. But the lack of faith that many black women have in black men, this is the thing that prevents her from being able to connect and pair bond with a good brother. And it's one of the things that drives her into the arms of a Pookie or a Ray Ray. The reason why many black women will choose a Pookie or a Ray Ray over a black man is because she doesn't want to submit to the authority of that black man, because she fears that that black man will not be able to provide or protect her, and she believes that she has to go out here and find a man to have power over, because she fears that if she gets involved with the quality brother, he will be taken from her. So she wants to take control over that black male, the Pookie or the Ray Ray, to ensure that his life will not be taken by a white supremacist. However, these males wind up taking their own lives as related to black on black violence, because many of these black males, again, they're not leaders, they're not authority figures, and many of these men are extremely weak. And again, it just shows the core foundation of a black woman's whole ability to have relationships, again, is based on fear and not faith, because a woman who has faith wants to submit to a man and work with him towards building together. That's what a healthy black woman wants to do. But many black women don't want to talk about the psychological trauma that white supremacy has inflicted on black women, and they don't want to talk about this because it is one of the more painful things to talk about, the lack of ability to trust a black man. But that that inability to trust comes from white supremacy instilling fear inside of a black woman's mind. And again, that fear is the thing that really prevents black women from being able to find a good man. It prevents her from being able to have relationships with good brothers, and it prevents her from really being able to go out here and connect to the point where she can go out here and bond with that brother. That's what the fear that white supremacy has instilled in black women. prevents black women from being out here and being able to form those, again, mental, emotional, and spiritual connections that allow a woman to go out here and form that bond with a man. No, she's always got one eye looking over at somebody else because she's terrified of going out here and connecting with a man. So that's what I'm looking to explore in the pages of 2024's Isis Dark Incubus, because in this story, as Isis goes out to try to face her fears, she runs into this incubus, and this whole story, again, is about how a person has to find God's love in order to start on the road to healing, because the only way to heal from this kind of trauma is to discover the love of the Most High, because it's God's love that's the thing that will help a sister overcome this kind of trauma. It is God's love that will help a sister overcome this kind of trauma and start healing and start being able to break out of this whole paradigm that has traumatized so many black women and led to 70% of black women being single, led to 70% of black women being miserable, and led to so many black women going through pain. Again, this is something that many sisters don't want to talk about, but it's something I believe we do need to talk about, because it's the black woman's fear of going out here and trusting black men that is one of the things that keeps her from being able to live the abundant life that the Most High has for us, because he wants black women and black men to come together as they form relationships to build families. And you can't build a family based on a relationship that's founded in fear. No, you can only build a relationship with love that is of God, and you can only connect with people if you learn how to love someone the way God loves us. And part of that, again, is trying to break out of this paradigm that has suffered many sisters for generation after generation. And the way we break this generational curse is sisters have to acknowledge that there is psychological trauma that has been passed on from generation to generation as related to the fear of losing a black man. We have to face this fear, and we have to face this fear because, again, this is the only way a sister can go out here and heal, to find a relationship with a good brother. Because if your head is still in a place that's messed up, where you're just living in this fear, you're not going to be able to take your power as a black woman to be able to face that fear. As long as your head is in that place of fear, in that place of where you're just so scared of a man being taken from you, you're going to be making emotional decisions, and those emotional decisions are going to put you in the line of all of these predators who are looking to prey on a black woman and exploit her. That's what the fear is going to drive a sister to do. And a lot of sisters don't see how they are being driven by that fear as related to fear of losing a black man in a relationship, and how that fear is creating insecurity and doubt inside of them. It's that fear and that doubt that have many sisters out here rushing into toxic relationships with predatory males and not looking to go out here and build relationships with quality men, because, again, they fear he's going to be taken from them, so they got to rush into something that isn't a good fit for them. Again, the black woman's whole foundations for romance and love are based in fear, and we have to overcome that fear, and that's something that black women really need to understand, again, how white supremacy has affected black love, because white supremacy's effects on black love are preventing black women from living an abundant life, being able to connect with decent brothers, because they fear they're going to lose those brothers. And again, that fear drives them into the relationships with predators, or it leads to them sabotaging a perfectly good relationship, because they have all of these doubts about this man, and that lack of faith leads to them becoming their own worst enemy, because they start to sabotage their own relationships. And again, this fear and doubt, this makes, again, a black woman her own worst enemy, because she feels like she doesn't deserve to be loved. And again, she feels like she doesn't deserve to be loved, because she's living with this fear that, oh, if this man loves me, something bad is going to happen. And the reason why she believes that something bad is going to happen is because she fears that if she commits her whole heart to this man, what will happen is somebody will take his life, either one of these white racists or one of these Pookies or Ray Rays. It's a fear of fully connecting and committing to that man. And again, these fears are the thing that nobody wants to talk about, but I'm going to go in depth on these fears in Isis Dark Incubus as I make a commentary on black women's fears and how white supremacy has shaped those fears as related to the black woman's mind, as related to black love, because I want to see black women go out here and be able to deal with these fears, overcome these fears, and start to have faith in black men that God made for them, and trust in God, in the men that God has provided for them. Because one of the saddest things I see is that 80% of black women are Christians and say that they go to church. But the greatest irony I have seen in my life is that many of those black women who go to church have a great fear of committing to that black man and serving that black man. And again, this runs diametrically opposed to God's order. This is one of the greatest contradictions of black Christianity, is that you have black women who say that they serve God, but they are afraid to submit to that black man, and they're afraid to submit to that black man because they are afraid of going out here and fear that he will be taken from them. That's why they want to go out here and look to submit to the white supremacist system, because they fear that if they commit to that black man, he will be taken from them. And that, again, that fear is something that, again, has been a part of black culture. It's a fear that has been a major part of black culture, and that fear comes from the days of, again, slavery, when the slave master could take a black man away from a black woman physically by selling him off. 1, 2, it's a fear that black women learned through the terrorism and trauma of the Ku Klux Klan and white racists taking the lives of black men through lynchings and other assorted violence. And 3, a fear that she's learned that if a black man could just be taken to jail based on whatever allegations were made. All of these fears created a lot of mental and emotional trauma. And again, this mental and emotional trauma that has been passed on from generation to generation, that has conditioned and socialized black women to not believe that they are deserving of love, and makes them believe that if they go out here and get love from someone, some racist will take that person away so that they will never feel emotionally secure. Again, when I was writing Isis Dark Incubus, I really wanted to, again, make this story be one that made a commentary on white supremacy and its impact on black love, because one of the things that leads to black women, again, not being able to receive love is fear. But the only way you can find love is to learn to have real faith in the Most High and learn to trust in the living God, to trust in Him, to make and understand that this man will be there for you, because what God puts together, no man can put asunder. And white supremacy is not bigger than God. No, that religion will make you believe that white people and their racist policies are in control, but it is God who is in control, and that is the ultimate point I want to make in this story. And I want people to go out here and pick up this story, because I want brothers and sisters to start healing. And this is a book that I'm really eager to get out here, and I'm eager to get it out here because I want to see black women and black men heal, and I want to see black men and black women heal, and so that they can go out here and share black on black love with each other. Because while many folks who participate in the gender war believe that black on black love is dead, I believe that black on black love is still out there, and more people can experience that black on black love if many black women and black men start working on the road to starting to heal as related to dealing with the traumas of white supremacy, racism, and Jim Crow have inflicted on the black mind. Now, Isis Dark Incubus is going to be available in 2024. I have just finished writing the first draft of this book, and I'm working on editing the book right now, and I'm also working on developing the concept for the cover. So Isis Dark Incubus is a book that I'm eager to get out here, along with the other books of the SJS Direct 2024 catalog, which includes John Haynes' Illuminati and Esteem Horror in the Hamptons. And I'm hoping you'll go out here and pick up Isis Dark Incubus, and I'm hoping you'll learn something about how to overcome the fear of white supremacy and its impact on black love. And now, if you want to pick up some of the other books on the SJS Direct imprint, like the Isis series, the Esteem series, the John Haynes series, and the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, and my black sorority novel, The Thetas, my vampire novel, Eternal Night, and my black business novel, A Recipe for Success, you can find all of those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find those books at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. And if you want to see me make more videos and be able to make more positive black fiction, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, 1987. Learn lessons about life and teenage love in the 1980s in this coming-of-age John Haynes story. Get your copy of John Haynes 1987 in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Support black-owned and black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.